Cunningham, who is speaking, about to speak live now. Let's listen in.
And with the votes counted tonight, working together, we are one step closer to replacing Thom Tillis in the United States Senate. We are one step closer to replacing his partisanship with our patriotism. And we're one step closer to putting the values and the voices of North Carolina first in the great debates in Washington, D.C. Now, Mitch McConnell and Thom Tillis's allies snuck into our primary and tried to trick North Carolina voters. Well, friends, tonight won't be the last time their deception fails. Because here in North Carolina, the truth still matters. After September 11th, I joined the Army Reserve and I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. To take on the foreign challenges in our nation, I volunteered to go to Iraq. I volunteered for Afghanistan. I became a judge advocate and a paratrooper. I trained Green Berets at Fort Bragg. And for that service, I was awarded the Bronze Star and the General Douglas MacArthur Award for Leadership. But I never would have imagined that the great challenge to the future would be in Washington, D.C. itself. And so I am running to fulfill the oath that I took, to take on the corruption in Washington that is standing in the way of progress on the biggest issues of our time. This is progress and a political corruption and a financial corruption, standing in the way of progress on health care, bringing down the cost of prescription drugs, and making sure that all North Carolinians have quality and affordable care. It's stopping us from taking action on climate change, for the flooding that has damaged too many of our homes, too many of our businesses, too many of our people. It is stopping us from raising wages and cutting taxes for working families so that they can keep more of the money that they earn. And it's stopping us from giving students the future they deserve through investments in schools and our classrooms. The way we stop that corruption is with political reform. That's why when I take office, I will file a constitutional amendment to overturn Citizens United. In the push and pull of Washington politics, Thom Tillis has decided there is something more important than representing us. He has put his own political interests and special interests ahead of North Carolina's interests. He did it when he flip-flopped to give the president authority to take $80 million from our military communities. Too weak to stand up to a president whose support he craves. He did it when he prioritized his corporate donors and those who are already doing well with massive tax breaks, while over half of North Carolina families will pay higher taxes. And he did it when he stood on the floor of the United States Senate in his maiden speech and approved drilling off of North Carolina's coasts, putting oil and gas ahead of our coastal communities. The fact of the matter is, Washington has broken Thom Tillis. He's too weak to stand up to his partisan friends and his corporate backers, even when it's wrong for our state. Well, I'm here to tell you that North Carolinians are decent, hardworking, proudly independent people, and we expect that in our senator. That, my friends, will be the difference between me and Thom Tillis. But thank you. But let me say this. This is about so much more than replacing a bad U.S. senator. This is about answering fundamental questions. What it means to be a North Carolinian, and what kind of state we want to raise our children in. Will we live out the biblical admonition to be our brothers and sisters' keepers? Will we rise to the challenge to leave this state and this country in better place for the next generation? Because I know you, I know that we will. I'm honored to be standing here tonight as your Democratic nominee, but this campaign isn't about me. It's about you, and it belongs to you. It belongs to my wife, Elizabeth, my daughter, Caroline, my son, Will, who bear the brunt.
All right, you've been listening to Cal Cunningham. We are going to take a quick break. We have much more of our live stream, so don't go anywhere. We're going to do a live cut-in on TV, and we'll be right back.
Me the values that drive me to serve. To my campaign team, you are the best. Let's give them a round of applause. Tonight's success belongs to you. Raise your hands, campaign team, right out there. You. To the volunteers and the supporters that make the campaign possible, thank you for believing, for donating, for giving of your time and becoming ambassadors for this campaign all across this great state. And to my fellow Democrats, Senator Erica Smith, Commissioner Trevor Fuller, and Dr. Atul Goel, let's give them a round of applause. Our democracy is best when we all stand up for the things that we believe. It's been an honor to be in this race with each and every one of them, and I look forward to working together with them to make North Carolina all that it can be. Now, finally, let me say a word to the 10.5 million people that call North Carolina home. I know that many of you today made a different choice, either in this primary or perhaps you chose a Republican ballot today. Perhaps you chose not to vote at all because you don't feel like your voice is being heard. I would say this, growing up in Lexington, we did not check voter registration cards before we took care of our neighbors. We believe in service and in hard work and in fighting for justice. And it's that same spirit of those neighbors that took care of my family while I was overseas. It's that spirit of North Carolinians all across this state who more than anything want us just to look out for each other. That's why I'm going to keep traveling and I'm going to keep listening. I want to hear from you. I want to connect with you. I want to have the opportunity to hear your story and build a relationship with you. And it's okay if we don't agree on all of the issues. My word, the same word that I gave when I took that oath, is that I will always listen first. I will always honor your North Carolina story first. And I will work to take that story to Washington, D.C. to be your champion too. I'm going to go places that haven't seen a candidate and certainly haven't seen a Democrat in entirely too long. And I'm going to talk to folks who don't always agree, because that's what it means to be a United States Senator in this great democracy. So let me say, I believe that North Carolina's future is bright and that this country's future is bright because I know you and I trust you. And I would consider it an honor to serve a state that I love in a nation that I love. Tomorrow, we don't rest. I'm hitting the road again tomorrow morning on the next step on a path to victory in November and the next step in a better future for our state. Please join me. Thank you, and God bless the great state of North Carolina. Thank you.